Hello and a warm welcome to Nationwide on the NTA. I am Ifoma Ojinta. A National Social Investment Program Establishment Bill is on the way to provide needed institutional framework to guide federal government in selecting target beneficiaries in the country. This was made known at a one-day public hearing organized by Senate Committee on Special Duties. Reina Obasi has details.
Issues raised at the hearing border on its establishment as a commission rather than an agency to ensure continuity, specified beneficiaries, domestication of the commission in all states, and specification of the ministry that will manage the commission, among others.
Many institutions were actually closed down, others popped out, but still the tackling the poor and vulnerable has always remained in a vacuum. So, sir, putting up an act to consolidate this effort and give us a solid direction is actually the way to go.
So, sirs, I would like to see where it is listed such other programs as directed or as included by the National Social Protection Policy.
We felt that the board, as it were right now, is over 36 members. And such a board is going to be a threat to the fund of the agency if created.
If we leave the scene today as it is, believe me, most of the good work will dissipate. How do we consolidate it? It's through creating an agency that will carry on the legacy.
The National Social Investment Bill is in the category of proposals geared towards growing our institutional ability to support citizens and groups towards societal stability and progress.
It is as part of the methodology for the exercise that this public hearing was called to enable the committee gather critical information and valuable data to enrich our decisions in line with the global best practices.
The committee says it is still open to more presentations to cover all interests in the bill. From the National Assembly, Reina Obasi.
In the meantime, the House of Representatives has considered and approved a legislation that made provisions to reform the administration and management of customs and excise in Nigeria. The bill seeks repeal and reenactment of the 63-year-old customs and excise laws which have been in operation in Nigeria. Some of the reforms in the enacted legislation relate to issues of funding, appointment of the Comptroller General of Customs and of personnel for the service. An overriding benefit of the reform is enabling an increase in revenue generation for Nigeria from operations of the customs. The Central Bank of Nigeria says it's working to incorporate financial literacy as part of school curriculum in a bid to equip students with financial knowledge. Musa Abubakar reports that this was emphasized at a financial literacy fair in commemoration of Global Money Week in Abuja.
Besides acquiring basic knowledge in school, these students have little or no knowledge about money matters. But at this literacy fair, organized by the Central Bank of Nigeria and other banks, Hassan Badamasi and his friends are learning new techniques on how to manage their own finances by the time they start earning income.
Saving my money through the bank's account, opening the bank account and save the money into the bank account.
Still young, so I don't have enough money to save, but with coming here I've learned that having money, you can save money for the future, not always relying on your parents and your guidance. So
there's really a big deal for me to start saving money for the future because I don't know what will happen in the future.
This is all part of activities by the Consumer Department of the Central Bank to commemorate Global Money Week, aimed at ensuring that all children and young people have access to high-quality financial education. This is to improve their future financial resilience and well-being.
You plan your money through savings, you plan through budgeting, you plan through investment, and the children are equally taught during this period on needs and wants. you have to separate your need from your want so that you don't put all your money in your want and you won't have savings to invest.
With the theme, Plan Your Money, Plant Your Future, this year's focus is on raising awareness about the importance of adopting a responsible, informed, and forward-looking approach in making financial decisions. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
Launched ahead of the UN 2023 Water Conference, a flagship United Nations World Water Development Report is drawing global attention to partnerships and cooperation to avert global water crisis. Published by the United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, the report highlights collaborative ways actors can work together to overcome common challenges. The report notes that water starts wars, puts out fires, and is key to human survival. But ensuring access for all hinges largely on improving cooperation. There is an urgent need to establish strong international mechanism to prevent the global water crisis from spiraling out of control. Globally, 2 billion people do not have safe drinking water, and 3.6 billion lack access to safely managed sanitation, while the global urban population facing water scarcity is projected to potentially double from 930 million in 2016 to between 1.7 and 2.4 billion people in 2050, the report found. The Federal High Court's Abuja has dismissed an application filed by suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari, praying the court to quash the count of alleged drugs trafficking against him. Olabode Arewa reports that the court's decision is an exercise of its jurisdiction on narcotics-related matters.
Abba Kyari, Sunday Ubua, Bawa James, Simon Agriba, and John Nu were charged under the NDLEA Act for allegedly tampering with hard drugs evidence and selling same. Having pleaded not guilty, Kyari had filed for the quashing of the counts on the basis that they were premature and that the NDLEA ought to have concluded investigations before filing the charges, as the police were also investigating him. He submitted that being a police officer, the Police Service Commission had the authority to investigate and discipline him in line with the Police Act and its regulations. The court, however, held that the powers of the Police Service Commission does not supersede that of the Federal High Courts. The court dismissed Abba Kyari's prayers for lacking in merit.
As it is now, he insists the court ruled that trial must continue. For instance, subsection 3 of the section 1 of the Constitution says that any law will abate to the essence of its inconsistency once it begins to contravene the Constitution. So that's what we're saying.
The court also deferred hearing on 2 other applications filed by the parties to May 16. Kyari's matter began when he was allegedly caught on camera engaging in a suspicious drug transaction. Efforts to extradite him to the USA to face other narcotics-related allegations have been stalled pending the conclusion of the current case. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
It's now time to join Hingino in our Lagos Network Center for trending stories from that zone. Hello, Hingino.
Informer. Women are still celebrating themselves and their achievements as part of activities marking the March 8 International Women's Day. Adding its voice, the women's wing of the Nigerian Labour Congress is urging the society to close the gender divide in the digital space. Ruth Aria Samuel reports.
Digital technologies have become critical part of present-day life as online experiences provide opportunities for young people to develop their ideas. This includes education, access to formal and informal learning, information, and support. This meeting, however, believes that there is a gender digital divide with young girls as the most disadvantaged.
It is a clarion call for the nation to encourage women and provide them equal opportunity to actualize their dreams and objectives in their chosen endeavor. The support for women should be first done by women.
If a girl shows tendency to want to do science or to even climb trees, something that mundane, allow her. She's expressing something. Don't cut short a part of her personality because of societal expectations.
The Nigerian Labour Congress Women Committee in Lagos lauded the UNICEF East Asia and Pacific Regional Office for its programs that promote innovations by girls and young women in an effort to close the gender gap in the digital technology space. The body is, however, asking for more, as there is the need to design tech toolkits that meet their realities in terms of digital products and services.
A situation where women are encouraged not only to use the social media for entertainment and pleasure, but also to use it to enhance their productivity.
The International Women's Day is an annual platform used to reflect on the achievements of women, with a call for changes to further advance their course in the social, political, economic and cultural spheres. In Lagos, Ruth Ario Samuel, NTA News.
The Society of Nigerian Broadcasters has organized a training in Lagos with the goal of raising industry standards to weed out fake broadcasters through newly adopted platforms. Lynn Leneke has the details.
Checkmating the influx of phony and unqualified journalists into the broadcast media has become imperative with the increase in the rate of fake news.
I don't want it to be a society for all comers, where those that are not well trained in the act of broadcasting will want to be members.
These veteran members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm, including young broadcasters, have gathered to strategize on possible measures to restore the dignity of the profession. Speaking on broadcast ethics entrenched in election coverage, these professionals identified gray areas that need to be improved upon. Content regulation remains a priority to the body, especially at a time when fake broadcasters dominate the media space.
The excellent performance of the trained ones. So that is one area we need to look at. And that's why we are saying we need to make it even a precondition that you are not a member of SNEB, you should not be able to practice.
We are expected as journalists, as broadcasters, to produce programs, to bring out news that will serve the interest of the public.
Veterans in the industry took turns to speak on the responsibility of broadcasters in disseminating information devoid of volatility.
The fact that people do not go through the basic mentorship that they need to. A lot of people just jump into the profession. They claim to be on-air personalities. Many people are in the profession for the very wrong reasons.
The important thing is for you to garner the experience, get the knowledge, and practice professionally so that your material will be good.
The Society of Nigerian Broadcasters has continued to raise the bar in the business of communication, serving as an advocacy body for practitioners and bridging the gap between the old and new professionals in the industry. In Lagos, Lynn Leneke, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Ladidi Maiduguri is standing by with more stories on Nationwide after the break.
Theatre Commander Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadinkai, Major General Ibrahim Salo Ali says the military will continue to roll out more non-kinetic measures with most of the approaches targeting youth in the region as part of sustained efforts to end the insurgency. General Ali disclosed this when management of NTA Maiduguri Network Center visited him at the headquarters Theatre Command Operation Hadinkai in the Borno State capital. Memuna Garba reports.
The visit to the theatre command was to rekindle the cordial relationship between the military and NTA as they have the same interest. Theatre Commander Major General Ibrahim Sallau Ali said the military will continue to focus more on non-kinetic operations using religion and ideology to address causes of the Boko Haram insurgency, while seeking enhanced synergy and cooperation with NTA in the fight against terrorism. General Ali commended the station's patriotic and informed reportage.
I would like to urge you to please sustain the tempo. We are going to make it better. It is there, it will remain there, we'll make it better.
Zonal Director NTA Maiduguri Network Center Muhammad Abubakar, while extending appreciation of the Director General of NTA to the military over the successes being recorded in the counter-insurgency operations, said NTA will continue to project the military in good light. The Zonal Director also acknowledged the significance of the non-kinetic approach in the ongoing campaign against terrorism in the region and urged the theatre commander to take advantage of the NTA's reach and rich content to further mobilize the citizenry on the operation.
The effort you people are making in seeing that the youth are carried along in everything they do is highly commendable. We enjoin you to continue to do that so that the host community will be integrated into the system so that at the end of it all, Nigeria stands to benefit for the better.
Muhammad Abubakar used the forum and thanked the military for rescuing NTA crew who were attacked during the Monday market inferno. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA.
As the Church of the Brethren EYN clocks 100 years of existence in Nigeria, EYN President Reverend Joel S. Pili has called on the federal government to intensify efforts to ending insecurity in the country, especially in the northeastern region. The president made the call during an international press conference and series of activities marking the centenary celebration since early American missionaries to northern Nigeria established the church in 1923. Milka Damalam reports.
It was by no means a great achievement for one of the largest churches in Nigeria, the EYN, with spread and congregation in several countries across the world, marking 100 years of existence. According to the EYN national president, Reverend Joel S. Billy, the insurgency has been the major challenge confronting the church since its inception in Nigeria, rendering thousands of members displaced, churches destroyed, the killing of pastors and members, and abductions, especially that of Chibok girls and Leah Sharibu, who were majorly members of the EYN denomination.
Continue to expand the frontiers of our operation so as to win more souls for Christ.
The Reverend then gave thanks to God for witnessing the memorable day, regarding it as a privilege as many will witness it once in a lifetime. The centenary main event was graced by personalities from far and near, to include representatives from the USA, Rwanda, Burundi, Germany, Congo, clergy from across the country, top government officials, among other prominent personalities. While delivering their goodwill messages, clergy called for unity among members and also the government to overhaul the country's security sector so the church can bounce back again. The program featured entertaining activities from various singing groups, cultural displays, and a novelty football match between EYN headquarters and Cobb Theological Seminary. It was indeed a celebration galore for members celebrating the historic event of 100 years of spiritual growth and God's faithfulness to the church. From the EYN headquarters in Kwarhi, Hong local government area of Adamawa State, Malam, NTA News.
And that's it from here. Is back to Ifoma for more on Nationwide.
Thank you very much. And to election matters, political analysts are urging INEC to consider changing the sequence in which elections are conducted in the country. Reviewing the governorship and State House of Assembly polls on Good Morning Nigeria, they also condemned the do-or-die attitude of politicians. Ekemini Williams has the details.
March 18 governorship and House of Assembly elections have been officially announced and is now public knowledge, with the exception of Abuja and Enugu states, which were suspended, with that of Kebbi and Adamawa declared inconclusive. In continuing review of the conduct of the elections, political analysts commended INEC for the improved performance of the IREF in uploading results timely. They, however, noted that there was voter apathy and election violence, which they attributed to the desperate politicians seeking to win at all costs.
INEC delivered on this promise to upload results on the IREV.
Nigerian politicians are yet to repent from their old ways. They are still strict. They are still fixated with their old ways. They've not come to terms. For them, election is still war. You know, it's still a do or die affair.
They advised INEC to consider holding state elections before the presidential, as this will allow for improvement.
In terms of the power of INEC, it's already established that INEC has the responsibility to schedule elections. It makes sense for it to retain that power because it's INEC that will organize the election, and therefore it's also proper.
Those elections that are closer to the people tend to be more relevant. I'm saying that when we're electing members of the state assembly, or electing governors, we're electing people that are closer to us, people that we can see, you know, in very good numbers, you know, perhaps within a month, within a year, or within the election cycle.
The political analysts were also of the opinion that INEC needs to be unbundled for it to be more effective. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
Nasarawa State government has adopted measures to mitigate post-election violence in the states following outcome of governorship and state assembly polls. Aliu Tijani reports that already the State Security Council met and reviewed security situation in the states.
Elections concluded and results announced. Managing electoral victory is the task before the Nasarawa state government and other stakeholders so as to sustain the existing peace in the state. Governor Abdullahi Sule summons all heads of security agencies in the state, including traditional rulers, where he tasked them to brace up and curtail any emerging threat to the prevailing peace in the state. The state government warns that any act capable of disrupting the peace and harmony in the state will not be condoned.
On state, there has never been any election that has taken place, and there are no post-election issues. Nasarawa state is on the main highway leading the north and the south. So sometimes innocent people traveling on the roads get caught up and become very embarrassing for the state.
Meanwhile, Governor Sule, who wins his re-election, appreciates the people of the state for giving him another mandate, promising that he will not let them down. In a state broadcast, the governor calls on his opponents to join hands with him in the task of building a progressive state. The governor advises anyone not satisfied with the outcome of the election to seek redress in the court and not to jeopardize the peaceful atmosphere in the state. In Lafia, Aliu Tijani, NTA News.
And residents of Oyo State have called on winners of the general elections to be magnanimous in victory to fellow contenders. Lukman Hassan tells us more.
Residents of Ibadan noted that the 2023 general election has proven that the country is on the right track in conducting free and fair election. They identified the use of beavers in the election as a tool which has drastically reduced manipulation of the election in Nigeria.
INEC is better prepared, and also I think across the board there is much improvement. Was peaceful, was credible.
This Oyo State election is good. So I know that the person that won.
Religious leaders explained that the election have shown that Nigerians are becoming more enlightened politically. The clerics urge the elected leaders to focus on making life meaningful by providing infrastructure, security, and socio-economic amenities for the people.
As the election has come and it has gone, we thank God for what this government has done as regards beavers. It has helped this election to, I can say, 95%.
It is obvious now that those who perform well, they were able to retain their position. The losers today are going to be winners tomorrow. That is just how we are supposed to take everything so that we do not lose Nigeria.
Lukman Hassan, NTA News.
Nigeria's 2023 general elections may have ended But how the entire process has further strengthened the country's democracy is the concern of many observers. Clement Barikui has raised some key indices that are pointers to strengthen democracy in Nigeria, as put forward by public affairs analysts.
Since 2020, the West African region has faced democratic backsliding, with the ECOWAS governments of Mali, Guinea and Burkina Faso toppled by military juntas. A successful election in Nigeria, like the 2023 elections, could therefore serve as a necessary tool for strengthening democracy in the region. Nigerians have spoken through the ballot, and as would be expected, good governance is what they hope to see in the next few years.
The focus should be on how to lift the youth and the employed out of unemployment, how to create jobs.
Contracts have been awarded to several contractors to do primary schools, to revamp them, to actually develop those places. But how many of those contractors have done them?
Increased public confidence, citizens' participation, and strengthening the electoral process in the country, observers say, are some key indicators of a strong democracy which Nigeria must not ignore.
To strengthen democracy is not a war, it's work. So let us march on there and look towards a greater Nigeria, irrespective of what has been happening.
No doubt, strengthening Nigeria's democracy is on course, as evident in the just concluded elections, and this will hopefully translate into the peaceful existence of not just the country, but for African nations as a whole. In Oyo, Clement Barikui, NTA News.
Meanwhile, as the democratic processes for the 2023 general elections climax with the announcement of results, Nigerians have been urged to realign with ideals of the nation to further promote unity and peaceful coexistence for the needed development of the country. The Obong of Calabar, Edidem Ekpo Okon Abasi Otu, the fifth, and religious leaders gave the advice in Calabar. Achibong Basi completes the report.
Obong of Calabar, Edidemekpo Konobase to the faith, while urging Nigerians to always be at peace with one another, says there is more to life than personal interest or affiliation. He emphasized the need to love one another while upholding the tenets of democracy if Nigeria must remain as one indivisible entity.
The political divide in the country, that shouldn't tear us apart. We are a people. We have a life to live, and we must always try to be in peace, love each other, and uphold the tenets of whatever they call democracy. But we should be able to keep Nigeria as one.
With the 2023 general elections concluded, religious leaders have also appealed to Nigerians to put aside their differences and work towards the development of the country.
Repent from biases, religious biases, party biases, including other social biases, so that we'll be able to make informed decisions.
We need to ensure that everybody is carried along in the governance of this nation, Nigeria.
The opinion leaders opined that if Nigerians must have a country of their dreams, they must eschew violence and embrace a peaceful resolution of all conflicts. In Calabar, Achibombasi, NTA News.
And religious and community leaders in Kaduna have cautioned residents against any acts capable of breaching the existing peace in the state in the name of rejecting election results. This is coming after the Independent National Electoral Commission declared Uba Sani of the APC as the winner of the governorship election in the state. Adamu Sunday reports.
Outcome of election results in Nigeria is usually characterized by violence, resulting in destruction of lives and property. As Nigeria has conducted governorship and state assembly elections peacefully, religious and community leaders in Kaduna have emphasized the need for people to remain calm and peaceful over the outcome of the election.
No one should come out on the street to protest. No one should come on the street to destroy anything. No one should come on the street to attack anybody, because that's when we do that, we become like animals.
Violence doesn't yield anything, and there is no benefit in trying to uphold law and order through the illegal channel.
Nigeria is greater than the ambition or interest of each and individual of us. So let's look into the future. And for those who have this mandate, remember, you have a mandate. You are accountable to God.
They, however, call on the winners to carry everybody along, while the losers who feel aggrieved should reclaim their mandate through legal means. They caution politicians against dividing people along ethnic and religious lines. In Kaduna, Adamu Sunday, NTA News.
Our Just Network Center is our next stop on Nationwide, and Felicia is our guide. It's over to you, Felicia.
Thank you and welcome to Jos. University of Jos is building an experimental animal and COVID-19 vaccine development and production research laboratory with state-of-the-art equipment. Sadatu Mohammed Kafa reports.
This research laboratory is funded by TED Fund to carry out vaccine experiments on animals, and if successful will be fit for test on humans. Having toured around the laboratory, Vice Chancellor of University of Jos, Professor Tanko Ishaya, commends the contractor for quality work and timely completion of the project, saying the lab is of great significance to the development of vaccines.
Whatever results that we get from here is actually going to go back and also going forward as far as the clinicals are concerned, to be able to come up with a vaccine, a COVID-19 vaccine, that we can say that this is a vaccine that has been designed by Nigerians and has been produced by Nigerians.
Acting Director of Veterinary Teaching Hospital and the Principal Investigator, Professor Lamin Longbin, appreciates management of University of Jos and TED Fund for the grant, saying the preclinical laboratory for animals will enhance the development and production of other vaccines apart from COVID-19 vaccine.
We have what we call the Nigerian strain, and then if we can produce the vaccine from that, which they have done, then we are now testing it on lower stages of animals to see the response, to see the reaction, to see what will come up.
The laboratory comprises animal experimental area, sterilization room, animal holding area, offices, as well as preparation room. In Jos, Sarah Muhammad Kafa, NTA News.
Internally displaced households affected by flood and banditry attacks in Wase community have benefited from relief materials courtesy of the National Emergency Management Agency. The intervention, facilitated by the Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, Ahmed Idris Wase, is to cushion the hardship being experienced by the victims. Mary Replong Domtur reports.
Some communities in Wase local government area experienced series of attacks and other disasters such as flood, which exposed the settlers to hardship. To ease their hardship, the National Emergency Management Agency distributed relief items to the victims through the Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, Ahmed Idris Wase.
This is the first time that I see a person that considers his people like himself, so we appreciate that. Then this benefit that I receive, I will use it properly. Then I also advise my colleagues they should make use of it, they should not go and sell it.
He assisted us as a result of the bandits that burnt our houses, rain, destruction and so on.
I appreciate NEMA for this intervention.
For the federal lawmaker, Ahmed Idris Wase represented, the items will go a long way in alleviating the sufferings of the IDPs, as many of them lost their means of livelihood.
When their houses were affected, he visited them to sympathize with them. Let them go and use this, what they have been given judiciously.
In Jos, Mary Replong Domtur, NTA News.
We'll take another break. Nationwide continues shortly in Kaduna with Salamatu.
Wide on the network service of the NTA. Glad to have you join us here in Kaduna. Jigawa state government has inaugurated a central transition committee to begin preparation for a smooth transition of government to the next administration. Mohammed Musa Askira reports that the committee is expected to complete its work within 25 days.
So the governor-elect, the sitting governor has been part of the administration since 2015, first as Commissioner for Finance and Economic Planning, and then as Deputy Governor from 2019 to date. They need to follow due process in the handover of power by the outgoing Governor Muhammadu Abubakar to incoming Governor deemed necessary for transparency and accountability purpose. This necessitated of the 40-man committee will, among other things, take stock of the government's assets and liabilities, policies and programs, as well as setting the precedents for the planning of the transition ceremony. The objective of this, the committee said, is to prepare a level ground for the smooth takeoff of the new government.
And we have broken ourselves into different subcommittees so as to take charge of different aspects of the transition. The major terms of reference is one, to prepare for the taking over and handover of a government, and also to prepare for the inauguration of the new government, and also to see what is the asset and the liabilities of a government that will be handed over.
The committee, which drew its members from various government ministries, departments, agencies and other key institutions, is to be chaired by the governor-elect and assisted by the deputy governor-elect, and is expected to finish its work on the 15th of April, exactly 45 days before the swearing-in of the new governor. In Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Commission Daudabu has identified local intelligence gathering and effective synergy among security agencies as catalysts for defeating threats to internal security. The Corps Marshal stated this during a paper presentation at the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji, Kaduna. Suleiman Rigachkun has the details.
Distinct in their training and doctrines, united on a common goal of national defense and security, the participants, comprising tri-service military, paramilitary, intelligence and communication personnel drawn from agencies of government and overseas, are members of the 45 senior course of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji. In keeping with the tradition for cross-fertilization of ideas and skills in tackling internal security problems, Criminal Act in combined and single operational environment, Exercise Haskebu is organized to broaden the knowledge of middle cadre officers on their assigned responsibilities. Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Commission Daudabu acknowledged the significance of interagency collaboration in understanding the application of kinetic and non-kinetic approaches to counter threats posed by irregular groups and non-state actors.
Joint and multi-agency collaboration in internal security and low-intensity conflict operations amongst law enforcement agencies and the military cannot be overemphasized.
The exercise is expected to provide practical implementable solutions to myriad of internal security problems in Nigeria in concert with the international best practices. Suleiman Rigachkun, NTA News.
And Suleiman Rigachukun's report completes our package from Kaduna. We now rejoin Ifoma in our Abuja studio.
Thank you very much, Salamatu. Senate has confirmed the appointment of Justice Stanley Adekunle Lawal as substantive president of the Customary Court of Appeal of the Federal Capital Territory. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports that Justice Adekunle has been on acting capacity since October 2022.
On the 28th of February 2023, Senate received presidential request for the confirmation of Justice Stanley Adekunle Lawal as president of the Customary Court of Appeal of the Federal Capital Territory. 22 days after, the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters has screened the nominee and recommended his confirmation.
On the confirmation of the nomination of Honorable Justice Stanley Adekunle Lawal for appointment as the substantive president
of the customary Court of Appeal of the Federal Capital Territory.
Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Honorable Justice Stanley Adekunle Lawal for appointment as substantive President of the Customary Court of Appeal of the Federal Capital Territory? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Antonio Juku was also confirmed for reappointment as the Executive Secretary of the National Human Rights Commission. Senate passed the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Act Amendment Bill, while the Nigeria College of Taxation and Fiscal Studies Establishment Bill, sponsored by Senator Sabi Abdullahi, and the bill by Senator Sani Musa on the Nigerian Content in Program Contract, Science, Engineering, Technology and Innovation, passed second reading.
Capacity development is central to effective tax administration.
Technology and innovation for the promotion of technological innovations needed to drive national competitiveness, productivity and economic activities.
This bill will assist in the import substitution strategy of the federal government.
Senator Gabriel Suswam drew the attention of the Senate to the attacks on communities in Kwande local government area of Benue State as he called for reinforcement of security operatives in the area. Chairman, Senate Committee on Appropriations, Senator Jibrin Barau, has said competence and provisions of the Senate standing orders should guide the election of the President of the Senate. He was speaking when he briefed Senate correspondents on the election of the President of the 10th Senate.
It is the tradition all over the world. So it's there in our rules. It's there in our rules that, and this rule is a product of the Constitution. Section 60 gives the latitude to the National Assembly to create means of regulating its procedure.
Senator Barau is optimistic that the 10th Senate will build on the achievements of the 9th Assembly. Senate has adjourned plenary to 28th of March 2023. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has suspended its bidding process to a later date. This was because criteria for the bids were not met. 5 property in Abuja, Lagos, Anambra and Adamawa states were set for public auctioning after securing final forfeiture from the drug barons. However, only 1 lot out of the 5 went through the bidding process and none of them met the required criteria.
None of the bidders meet a reserve price. So what needs to be done now is a revaluation and we'll get back to you.
The essence of this process that we are doing today is to ensure transparency and fairness in the bidding process.
The bids were returned and NDLEA says it will communicate to the public on what decisions have been reached. The National Open University has deployed e-ticketing device, a method that provides solutions to academic challenges within 3 days. This is coming from the Vice Chancellor at a media briefing in Abuja. The university currently accommodates 250,000 students studying various disciplines, making it the largest carrying capacity high institution in the country. Its peculiarity makes its challenges enormous, hence the need to take a holistic approach to overcome them within the shortest time.
And this is part of our evolution. This is part of our involvement. We are evolving into real digital concept. For the first time, we had to recalibrate the degree of nursing. The degree of nursing in the National Open University of Nigeria used to follow the same trend. I've just given up to you now, saying first class, second class, now. But from advice of the Nursing and Midwifery Council, we now have them in 3 other categories. Just we have them as distinction, class, credit, and ordinary pass.
Established 40 years ago, the university went into limbo for 20 years, but bounced back in 2003. The institution's 12th convocation ceremony is expected to include 17 inmates from various correctional facilities under its corporate social responsibility. I'm afraid we'll end nationwide at this point as we join Umahia studios for the collation of the governorship results. Thank you. Thank you.